Hi, this is Tandy with your Pimp Your Mat Strengthener of the Week. And some of you all had asked me for things you could do anytime, anywhere. So here you go. You might look a little funny, but that's okay. Your tush is going to look a whole lot better and your ankles will be a whole lot stronger. So the first one is really simple, and I wrote it out on the fan page. It's just to squeeze your butt. So this stuff is all going to be leg and butt work. We've got 3 things to look at and to shape up, okay? So if you're standing in parallel position, you're gonna tuck under slightly to get yourself into alignment. That's what most bodies need. Squeeze your butt as hard as you can, tight as you can, and then let it release, okay? As you're squeezing, inhale to lift up through the belly, and exhale to knit through the ribs, okay? So you're inhaling to squeeze everything together, and exhaling to keep it in place, okay? So that's your Pilates core contraction. That's really the basis of all the work. Stand with your heels together and your toes apart. Scoot back, make sure you guys can see that. It's only a 3-finger distance apart or a fist distance between your toes, okay? So you want to have it pretty narrow. It's not a ballet first position. The goal is to give you something to work with in the heels. So squeeze and push your heels together. Imagine that the whole inner thigh and the inner line of the leg can squeeze and touch together, almost like a mermaid, where it fuses into one long piece, and then squeeze your butt, okay? So the first exercise is butt squeezes. You're gonna inhale to lift up through the belly button, squeeze your tush. Exhale to knit the ribs, let everything stay in place. Keep the squeeze going. So this is definitely something you can do anywhere, anytime. You can also do it in a parallel position. So parallel is bony hip distance apart with your toes facing straight forward. You may put yourself there, and then you always want to look down and go, where are my big toes? Because they do tend to list one direction depending on the body. So the goal is to get them in that pure parallel alignment. Same thing, inhaling to lift through the belly button, squeeze the butt, exhale to knit through the ribs. So inhaling to get really long, tall, and lean. Exhale, feel like your midsection sort of squeezes out like a tube of toothpaste up through the top of the head. So inhaling to lift up through the belly, exhaling to squeeze through the ribs. Okay, so that's your butt squeeze basically in a Pilates V position and in a parallel position. If you want to take it one step further, things you can do anywhere while you're waiting in line. Again, may look a little silly, but you know, what's the difference? So you're going to inhale to lift up on the toes, so it's a releve or a calf raise, okay? But you're getting all of the squeeze in the belly and in your butt as you do it. So you're inhaling to lift through the belly button, exhaling to keep the squeeze in your tush and your core on the way down. So it becomes a full body exercise. It's not just about lifting and lowering on the feet. But look at what my feet are doing. So when you do a calf raise or a releve, the goal is to have equal weight over the big toe and the baby toe, and not to have things sort of splay or wobble open. The way to do that is to focus on getting the weight over the big toe and coming straight back down. So the heel stays behind the toe the whole time, and that the weight is going forward, and that you don't give your ankles an opportunity to roll out. If you can't go this high in the beginning, that's totally fine. Okay, you want to work that direction. The goal is to get that weight over the big toe and then lower down. So if you can only go this high, that's totally fine. Okay, and then lifting and lowering. Notice that my body's not pitching forward and then sort of trying to lift up, that the whole thing tries to float. So like somebody's got an imaginary string on the crown of your head, and you lift and you lower. Okay. The goal is to share the balance between all of the toes, but in most bodies that I see, you need to aim over the big toe, okay? So you can lift and lower up to 30 to 50 times, but you could start with 10 to 15, okay? And if you're someplace and you've got time to do 5 of them. So then the next piece of that is to do the same thing in your Pilates V position. Tuck the tush under, squeeze the butt really nice and good. Get your core contraction going. You want to imagine that this little portion of your core is an elevator, and that every time it lifts, it pulls the body along and up with it, okay? So you squeeze the heels together as you lift, and you squeeze the heels together as you lower. So you're zipping through the inner thigh, it's all working together, and that you feel it squeeze all the way from the heel up through the inner thigh, pelvic floor, and butt as you lift and lower. So you're inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower. Okay, so that's Initially, your butt squeeze in a standing parallel position, a butt squeeze in your Pilates V position. Then you can take it to your releves or your calf raises in a parallel position, and the same thing in a V position. The goal is just to keep your core nice and strong. That's what makes it Pilates, that the alignment's really pretty and correct, and that you get the squeeze and the isometric contraction out of it, okay? So that's strength for your ankles, strength for your feet, strength for your inner thighs. If you're getting that much squeeze, you're working the bottom of the pelvic floor, you're getting glutes, and still core all the way through your rib cage. So there you go, things you can do anytime, anywhere, in the privacy of your own home, but can keep you moving, okay? So that's lower body stuff for anytime, anywhere, and I will see you with your next Pimp Your Mat stretch or strengthener. Thanks.